son, so he's known again. He knows pops. But from the last few days, I just been going through his pages and stuff, and this man has his hands in a little bit of everything. And I don't want to tell you the whole story because I want you to be able, I want him to be able to share on his own. I'm just trying to see how SB, if you in here, help me. There we go. There we go. Is he in here? All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I guess if I turn this up, now talk to me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now. There you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to some, introduce to others, the one, the only, break the blueprint, break the mold. I call him SB the anomaly.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the anomaly, I had to look it up and see it's something unique, something different, something special. So,
Yes,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen, we're for a great show. Like I said, I don't know how to make you bigger, but I can see you, you can see me. Let's get on with the show. Welcome. Thank you, first and foremost, from everybody here at Pop Gems, me. We want to say thank you for taking your time out, man, to give us a little bit of time on the show. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah,
And
no doubt.
congratulations.
Blessings. Yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. It's been a beautiful day. I'm a little sick today, but I wanted to make sure I came through to show love, man. You know, you're a fan, brother. I mean, your son is my brother, man. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's all good, man. I'm super excited to rock with it, man. And anytime I could be a part of whatever you got going on, man, it's always going to be a blessing and a privilege.
Well, I appreciate it. Let me say this out front. This man is in. He has his hands in so much that I'm gonna tell y'all right now. We're not gonna be able to get into everything in this show. I do want him to have. I want to have him to come back because, as like I said, I've been looking at his page and stuff. He has his hands in a lot of things. And for those of you who want to be rappers, singers, artists, anything to do with the music industry in that format, this the man to know. And as we get into the interview, you'll find that out. But I really want you to put an ear to what this man has going on. And I'm gonna say this: and he gonna tell it if I'm wrong. He correct me. I thought he was Spanish when I when I first I was gonna talk to him and say, "Oh yeah, Boricua, here, da, 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 da." And as I'm looking and I'm like, okay, SB the anomaly, that's his nom de voir. That's nickname for those of you that don't know what nom de voir means. But pseudonym, if you will. And I said, I wonder what his real name is. So when I looked up his real name and I started looking at his pictures and stuff, I was like, okay, not that there's anything wrong with that. I was just um I had to do something that people do to me. I work in a call center, so of course you can't see me. But when I introduce myself, my government name is Pablo. And
Yeah.
right away I get people, man, you'd be amazed how many people start talking Spanish. And because I cannot speak it good enough for them to pay me for it, let me just say it that way, I
Yeah.
just choose to do English. And I gotta tell folks, no, I don't know hablo español. No, no, can't do the Spanish. But nevertheless, welcome to the show, my brother. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
ladies and
Thank you for
gentlemen,
having
that's
me.
been the anomaly. Now, what I want to do is I want to let you kind of make your own foundation, lay your own foundation. Tell the people a little bit about you and what you got your hands in, and then we'll get into some questions and probe a little deeper.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to always be heard. I appreciate the platform. So, I'm an international entertainer and a motivator. You know, I dabble in different arts. The main thing that I do is rhyme. I've been rhyming for a while. I'm in a group called The Iconics. My DJ is Kang Prime. He's the son of KRS-One. He's an amazing DJ and producer. He makes a majority of our music from the production aspect and engineers a lot of it as well. I also dance professionally, so I'm a choreographer and a dancer. These days, more of a choreographer than dancing in general. Then you got the acting aspect. I'm an actor. I'm doing that for a little minute. Currently, you know, doing my thing as a lead in this series is being shot, about 6 episodes that we're working on.
Okay.
Just comes out the first three. I do, and I'm a published author as well. So I have my book of poetry. I've been working on the second book, and there's a lot that I could share with you. But essentially, I like the arts. I like helping people, feel uplifted. I've been DJing recently, and that's been a fun thing for me because I get to just play music and, allow people to have a good atmosphere to enjoy, their parties or weddings, whatever the situation may be. And I just enjoy doing anything that involves creativity and expression.
And what I noticed from all of your many hats is that it's always in a positive format. Everything that you do. I mean, even if the acting has to do with a different type role, but it's still a positive thing. We did a show called Jack of All Trades but Master of None, and a lot of people read that. They grasp that cliche, but they never finish it. And the back part of it is I'd rather be masters of many. No, it says I'd rather be jack of many than masters of just one. And
Yeah.
what the show was dealing with, nowadays you got to have more than one talent that you can earn an income with, because the world shifts. It's shifting so much, and when you can have multiple streams of income. I also seen you, and I wanted to ask you about this, and I'm better now than never. Uh, you're in the comedy on Thursday. Are you in the comedy? Are you promoting that, or you
Yeah, 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 man. I don't do stand-up comedy, but what I do is I'm in a group called Freed Apps, and Freed Apps does freestyle rap. These are some of the most talented freestyle rappers you'll ever see in your life, and we actually have a show this Thursday at
okay?
9:30 p.m. At the SAC Comedy Lab. I mean, I was telling you about it, and it's a really funny show, but it's more so freestyle rap. Like we're freestyle rhyming, it's punchlines back to back to back. We just give it a little comedic spin, so it can reach out to a broader audience. So even if you don't like rap, you will still appreciate the show because it's funny.
Okay. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Thursday night at Saks.
Yeah, 9:30 p.m. We only do this show once every couple of months, and this is the only show that we do that we bring up multiple people of the crew at the same exact time. Because normally this show only has two of us or three of us that we do in different colleges, different states, different countries. But this is the only one that we do. Oh, one of the only ones that we do. We have one in New York that we were doing. This is the only one we've done in Florida where everybody comes together once every couple of months. So it's a very special time for sure.
Where you from original?
The Bronx.
Bronx, boogie
Yeah,
down, the boogie
yeah,
down.
yeah.
KI's one makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. From the
Um,
Bronx,
while we're
and
in that area, tell us a little bit about your affiliation with KRS One. How did that come about? That's an
yeah,
interesting topic.
that goes to my coach from New York, my basketball coach. He was someone who had a huge vision that actually came to pass, which is pretty crazy. He was like, "Look, man, we linked up out here in Orlando. I met him in New York. He was my coach in the Bronx. I linked up with him years later, and he was like, 'Yo, what do you do nowadays?' Right? This is like over 10 years ago. He's like, what do you do nowadays?" I was like, I rap a little bit. I like to rhyme and stuff. And he goes, "Okay, bet. That's what's up. So let me hear you rap about the whole day. Let me hear you do a freestyle about everything we've done today. Because it was the first time we connected in so many years." He was living in 55 West, which is actually right next to the Sat Comedy Lab where the show is going to be at this week, ironically. And I did a freestyle about the whole day, and he was blown away. He was like, "Yo, that was really incredible, man." And he's the biggest KRS fan ever. Like he loves KRS One.
That's dope.
So a few years passed, and he was like, "You know what?" He seen me do shows and different things, and he was like, I feel like if I do a show with him and you open for him, I think you end up like going on the road with him and stuff." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, bro." I was like, I was like, whatever. I mean, whatever. If I get to see him perform live, that's more than enough for me. If I get to open, that's even better. Anything outside of that, I'm good. And ended up meeting his son, which he has two sons, and one of them rhymes, my boy Apollo, and then the older brother, who's my DJ Prime. Back then, he was Predator Prime. He's a DJ and producer. I didn't even know he had sons. I had no idea. I had no idea his anyway. In my brain, if you have sons and your pops is KRS, you're gonna rap. That's kind of how I felt about that.
No
And I
doubt.
wasn't really interested in rapping with another rapper. I've tried that before and didn't really work out, unfortunately. And you know, I was kind of doing my own thing. I think things were going good. And he was like, "No, I produce, I DJ." So I was up, and we just kind of bonded on some regular stuff, not even talking about music, honestly. And then he played some beats out of nowhere, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to hear you rhyme." Because he knew I was opening the show, but I wasn't talking about my music. Like I wasn't trying to make him. I wasn't talking about rap. I wasn't trying to sell him on me. I was just having fun, vibing out. Talking about nerdy stuff, and then once the beats came on, man, the energy shifted immediately, and I started rhyming. And he was like, "Yo, like that was dope." Did the show, worked out well, and then there was another joint that you could find on YouTube that happened the next day in Miami where they had a show and they invited me to come down. So I went down there half asleep because what's crazy is that because I dance as well. What's crazy is that I did the KRS show, right? And the same night they did the KRS show, the manager, who's KRS's wife, T Simone, she sent me a message and she was like, "Yo, he wants to do a song with you."
Oh wow.
And I was blown away by that. So then after that, I had to go to Disney to dance. And it was the first time we were dancing at Disney. So I had to leave the KRS show at like 3 in the morning, go to Disney at 2 hours later, dance at Disney for the next couple of hours, then go home half asleep, and then get up like 2 hours later to drive down to Miami to go to the show. So I wasn't gonna go. Went to the show, dressed up like a brown dress sweater, khakis, dress shoes, not looking hip hop at all. If you want to stereotype it or give it like a look or whatever,
Right.
and came in there. And I was like, "Yo, I'm here to see the KRS show, yada, yada, yada." And they didn't want to let me in. They didn't know who I was. And then, calls were made, messages were made. "I bet we got you." They let me in. And before the video that you can see on YouTube, I'm in the crowd and I'm, just talking to people like, "Yo, what up?" And I'm telling people that I opened for KRS the night before in Orlando. I'm just here to watch the show. People looking at me like I'm crazy. And then KRS got on stage and he was like, "Yo, we about to have a cipher." And prior to that, I had seen Prime run through the crowd. And then his sister, her name is Time. Time was like, "Yo, come by the side of the stage." And then I see G Simone, and this is my second time seeing them now. And I'm like, "Yo, what up?" And I'm just wondering if they're gonna remember who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't got
Right.
like, I'm just this is hip hop royalty to me. So I'm just shocked that I'm even in the building, let alone have a conversation with them like that. So I walked over there, and she was like, "Yo, come here right now." She grabbed me, basically put me to the side of the stage, and she was like, "Yo, when he asked for the cipher, you got to go up." So I bet. So he asked for the cipher. The security guard let me go up, and that's why in the video I'm the first person that walks up because I was already there. And he saw me, gave me a hug, showed me love on the microphone, and from there, bro, it just all kind of took off.
Wow.
It's been a wild ride, man. It's been crazy.
That
But
is great.
but yeah,
Yeah.
my boy Terrence T, my boy T Smooth right there, back again Productions, and Prime. Prime was a huge advocate of it as well, man. So those two individuals together pretty much played a huge role in me being around.
That's great. Yeah. There's is that people don't understand when when you grow up with somebody like you talking about uh Karis One. Rakim is one of my favorite rappers,
Oh yeah.
and I had an opportunity to and didn't even know it, but his cousin. Uh, Shout out to Chris and his family. Prayers go out to them in their time. But his cousin man stayed with me, and long story short, got a chance to meet him, and man, real humble guy. But the whole thing, I said all that to say, was that while we was talking, uh, people all up pressed up and you know groupie type stuff, and I was just laid back. I was just happy to be in there talking with him. We had a chance to go back to the hotel room and really got a chance because I was with his family, his cousin, but we had a chance to really like they say, chop it up. So it's funny because like I said, I grew up with him, and then later on, here not too far back, not too far back, his son, who also raps like you said, They got a son that raps, but his son raps, and so he was doing some tracks and stuff, and I was like, yo, man, them tracks is fire. I need one for my show. Long story short, told him who I was, and I guess when when your pops is one of the founders of rap,
Yeah,
one of the KRS-One, I'm sure you get a lot of people that run up on you. Yeah, man, I know your dad. I know your dad. I know your dad. And so when I hit him in the chat, yo, I know your pops. I guess I don't know if he believed me or not, but I sent him the clip of when we met, and so that's who. For those of you who tuned in when I first came on, he did my intro with the theme song, the track, and everything. So
it's
it's just
crazy.
cool when you meet people that have worldwide fame, but yet they're real humble cats. That's the point I'm trying to get to. When
Yeah, man, because some people be bugging.
yeah, some
Some
people,
people, I've met a lot of people, man, and I've met a lot of cool dudes, and I haven't met a lot of cats that were kind of off with their energy. Most people are pretty chill, but you run into like one or two that
yeah, they get
you know,
funny about their time, and they.
yeah,
I
and I
got I
get it.
got a couple clips, but so you picked up with that, and that's cool. Um, it's I say that the gift will make room for itself. Whenever you're, you in life, and I'm not trying to get philosophical, but when you do right by people, and you're not looking to get over on nobody and stuff, and you got a genuine gift, your gift is gonna make room for itself. Like you said, you never thought you would be, on a show, on a record with him, let alone opening up and all of that. But that's just because of the type of person that you are, and how people gravitate towards you. So yeah, I've seen some clips of you doing the pool party. Now, how you gonna play how low you can go in the water? Them folks keep trying to get you.
Yo, man, you gotta, yeah, I was at the Helios Hotel. That's Epic Universal's new hotel, by Universal. Yeah, I get to DJ there every month to my homeboy's company, the Only Productions, and it's always a good time, because when you're DJing in that kind of atmosphere, it's like a background kind of a vibe.
Yeah,
Now, if it's like in this, like when I did it when it was hotter outside, it was different. People out there kind of doing their thing. But around this time of the year, it's more like a background kind of a vibe. So you got families out there chilling. So, as a DJ, which is something I picked up in May, by the way. As a DJ, you want to start, creating the atmosphere. You want people to have fun, and it's crazy too because I'm gonna be DJing there for New Year's Eve, which is
oh
pretty
wow.
much, yeah, yeah. So, I just wanted them to have a good time. And I figure, cha cha slide or whatever like that. They're gonna resonate with that.
Now, and you said you've been DJing since just May. You said
Yeah, yeah, I've been DJing for like 5 months. Wait, 5 months? Sound like no, yeah, sound like I don't know. I'm not good with the cat. Wait, May, June, July, so July, August, September, October, November, December. So yeah, 6 months. It's been 6 months now, almost.
that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm old school. I come from an era where we used to record songs off the radio with cassette tape. So now I see the machines, and you be pushing all these buttons. So I guess because I'm technical as well, I could pick it up. But most of my stuff, I mean, I come from just playing one song to the end and mixing it in with the other, and not
That's the
necessarily.
real.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
real though.
yeah,
See, I don't even feel comfortable calling myself a DJ to be honest with you because I feel like DJs are individuals who had the vinyl, who could take a vinyl on this side, got a vinyl on this side, you got the needle, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what a DJ is.
yeah.
If you could scratch and do that, I think, and I'm not taking anything away from anyone that DJs, with the controllers, because there's some phenomenal DJs, brother, that they scratch with all of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah, they
Yeah,
they
they may not have a vinyl, but they're scratching, and they're
yeah,
they're and they're nasty. And a lot of those cats came from vinyl too. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I feel like if you don't know how to rock with vinyl, you're missing an important piece of the craft. That's pretty much what it boils down to. It's like rapping. Like, you don't got to freestyle to be called an MC. But I feel like if you can't do it at all, you're missing a piece.
I
Don't
I agree. I agree. I feel like if you can't. how can you call yourself a rapper and you can't come off of the dome? I mean, it should be something that's in you all day, just stuff that's that melody, and or you hear something. Um, and it's funny you should mention ciphers because uh, me and your boy Matt and Chris, uh, Rakim's cousin, and a couple of us, Swagger Man and Ace Boogie and all that. We used
Yeah,
to
of
sit around,
course.
man. We used to sit around and have sessions, and they'd be like, "Oh, Dad, you can't." Man, I just try to be in there. I got a couple of, nothing major, but I put a couple of things together, and I messed around one time and made a song during the pandemic and stuff like that. But my whole thing was, I come from the era when it came straight out of the Sugar Hill Gang, which we used to perform in Germany. The original, the Sugar Hill Gang, me and my two brothers, rest in peace, my brother Steve. But we used to do the Sugar Hill Gang at what they call the USO show. And from there, it went to listening to Run DMC when they first came out, and then everything as it evolved, and some of the pioneer rappers, and again being from New York, I'm dealing with the old school Art Rakim, Run DMC, Curtis Blow, even back then LL Cool J when he first started, and all of those, Slick Rick, Dana Dane, the storytellers of
Yeah,
uh,
the legends, man.
legends, man, and I came up with them. And now that segues to my next question. So now, compared to that old school foundation, what would you say about the rap that they call rap nowadays?
You know, when I
I don't mean
was
on the spot.
no, you're good. If you would have asked me this question when I was, maybe in maybe 15, 16 years ago, I would have my answer would be very different back then. Now, the way I look at it is there's a market for everything. And well, maybe unfortunately is the wrong word, but people that are rapping, what they're doing is on the mainstream, right? Because there's plenty of rappers who don't rap like that, but on the mainstream, what's being pushed by the machine, what's being pushed by the people that have money in the industry, they're just following a formula. Like whatever works right now, people are gonna copy that. They're gonna copy it, they're gonna recycle it, and they're gonna do it again. That's why a lot of rappers that come out disappear after that. Like they come out, they add their drop to the cup, and then someone else does it, and just keeps filling
Right.
up this cup over and over again. I'm not really a fan. For me, it's not even like I'm on an old head tip or oh I don't want to hear none of the new cats rhyming. My thing is I want to understand what you're saying. That's my first thing. I want to understand what you're saying. It doesn't matter how fast you rap because I could follow fast rappers with no problem. I could follow the Tech Nines, the Eminems, any of the choppers. I could follow people with no problem. And if I really need to, I could press rewind and hear it again. It's not an issue. But it's to the point that it's not even audible. It's just harmonies. It's just sounds,
Right.
and also just it just sounds like the same thing over and over again. So back then, I can identify DMX immediately. I could identify a Cool G Rap immediately, a Rakim immediately, a KRS immediately, a Jay Z immediately, a Jadakiss immediately. I hear it, and within a matter of 5 to 10 seconds, I knew exactly who I'm listening to, because they have their own stamp. Now, I don't know who is who because it all sounds the same.
Sounds
It's the
generic.
same.
Well, I don't want to say generic, but like you say, it sounds
It's a formula.
from the same formula, same
Yeah,
template.
it's the yeah. I'll
I
give
think
you.
they monetized it more than and again, this is pops. When they first came out, they was expressing themselves. They were telling stories about their everyday lives, what they seen, what they grew up with, what they encountered, or even what they hoped for, or how they envisioned themselves. Where now it's more monetized. It's what's gonna sell. We don't want to just say, we don't want to tell stories about ourselves, but if that's selling, then that's what we'll do. whatever's pushing the record, and I think it's taken away from from the essence of rap. Because if you think about it, rap is really just poetry with a beat. It's a storytelling, and
Yeah, and even if it's not a story, that's fine. It's just that even the beats, if like when I DJ, when I'm DJing songs from the '90s to early 2000s, it sounds so different. Like new R&B and rap, like the beats sounded so different than what it does now. And when I'm judging a contest, $1,000 contest in January out here, right? And I've judged many contests for rappers and singers over the years.
Matt, he needs you to be there, my brother.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I've judged so many contests, man, and people pick me to judge because I know how to break things down in a way that's not, negative. Like I am not a derogatory person. I'm professional. I'm gonna tell you what I feel you need to do in a way that's very understandable, relatable. It's not gonna be like derogatory or negative. So and there was a few of them that I've heard, and I'm like, bro, like this guy sounds like every other person that has rap today. Like you all sound the same. It's the same exact flow. You're talking about the same exact thing, and the only thing that's different is that your name is your own name. You got the vocals playing on the track. It's not even really you rhyming live. It's not really a performance. You have the same flow. And again, there's a market for everything. So I don't knock what people are doing as long as they understand that what they're doing is that kind of rap. Like rap should have genres. Rap should have different kind of genres because it ain't the same. You cannot compare someone who raps like that to a J. Cole, to a Kendrick, to people who are rhyming at a different frequency. It's just there's no comparison. You can't put Joyner Lucas into the same conversation as someone who does that. So you have to just understand what it is, identify for what it is. It's all music, it's all cool, it's all good, it's all love. Just that's what you do. That's what you guys do. This is what these cats do. And we should all just respect, what everyone's doing. And ironically, a lot of the cats that are young, they don't even respect the OGs, man. They don't respect. That's really my biggest problem when I see young cats on radio stations saying, "Oh, who is this? Who is that? Who's that? Who's that? What beat is that? I don't want to rap on no beat like that." Like, it's crazy. Like, you wouldn't even exist had it not been for them. You wouldn't even be here.
Exactly.
Half of y'all rapping because you saw it on a TikTok video. Like, you don't really love rap. You don't understand the elements of hip hop. When breaking was a part of the Olympics, a lot of cats have no idea that breaking is a part of hip hop. They have no idea what they're talking about. They think hip hop is rap. No, rap is an element of hip hop. And hip hop is a way of life. It's a culture.
Culture.
Correct. So you have to
And
understand.
you'll find so many of these young cats that come up calling themselves wanting to be rappers. But you know what? In anything, it would behoove you to study the craft, know
Correct.
the origin, know where it came from. And I kind of feel bad about it myself in the essence of some don't know what 4 bars is from 8 bars. Some
Bro,
don't know what
it's
a hook is
let me
from. They just grab the mic and I got this,
let me let me tell you,
bruh,
brother.
it's a crap, and so it's it's something that I think the older, and when I say older, anybody that's more mature than the younger ones coming up needs to pass on. I think somewhere they dropped the baton and they went from really sitting down. I've heard some of the greats talk about how they count the bars and how to put a rhyme inside of a rhyme, talk about another rhyme, and how to make that all come up and study. Uh, Again, one of the great ones, Rakim, but there's so many that actually break it down. Eminem breaks it down. You got Andre 3000. I think he was one that came on there and talked about how all the different rappers and the different cadences that they use, and so it's amazing when you see people do that. But it's also good that there's people that haven't forgotten the roots. There's people that
Yeah,
haven't forgotten, how it all originated and what the purpose of it was.
yeah. That's why I told you I don't like calling myself a DJ because I understand the element. I know real DJs. I know DMC champions. I know people that were running around with crates before they started using the controllers. You know what I mean? And it's just really it's a matter of respect. Rap has given me a lot, man. Without rap, I would have not. I wouldn't have seen 95% of the countries that I've been in. You know, I wouldn't have been in those places. I've been everywhere from other countries to Navy ships in the middle of the sea, you know, rapping on the biggest Navy ship in the world, you know, because of rap. That was all rap. So how could I walk around disrespecting the culture that paved the way? And a lot of artists, man, it hurts me to see. It really bothers me when I see people that don't understand that and they're just talking about, you know, nonsense. And it's not even about what you're talking about. If you're gonna talk about nonsense, that's fine because that's all subjective. Like what I believe is nonsense is my opinion. Doesn't mean it's nonsense to somebody else, but
True.
at least know where you come from. At least be able to have an intelligible conversation. If someone sits you down and goes, "Can you tell me about your culture? Can you tell me about rap? Can you tell me about what you're representing?" You should be able to have a conversation. You should be able to say, "Well, it started over here." You
Right.
know, 1520 set wig, you know, you got Cool Hurricane, you got this, and then you got the elements, and you got the b-boying, and you got the DJ, you got the graffiti with the burners. You have to be able to have that conversation. If you don't want to rap a certain way, that's fine. It's your art.
Right.
But understand
At least
where you
understand the
where
blueprint.
you come from.
Right. So
That's
that
all
being
that's my
said,
thing.
let me ask you this. So what advice would you give to an up and coming, I don't want to say rapper, an up and coming musician that wanted to lead toward the art of rapping? What advice would you give them? What ground up, starter kit advice would you give them?
Man, well, I would say we live in the era of information. You know, back in the day, if you wanted to learn something, you had to go to a library and go into an encyclopedia. These days, you could just type it with your fingers and you have it immediately, right? So study the culture, you know, study the history of rap. Where learn a little. You don't gotta be you don't have to know everything, but where did it come from? Who are some of the influential individuals, right? That who's our Mount Rushmore, right?
Right.
The Rakims, the KRSs, the LL Cool J is, just man, I can go on forever, bro. Slick Rick, the Dougie Fresh, Melly Mel. I mean, that Cool Mo D. Like you need to know the names of the people that were there before you, and then after you get an understanding of that, look at the other elements of the culture. Look at the graffiti. Look at the b-boy. Look at the DJing. Understanding how big of a deal it was that breaking was in the Olympics. That's unbelievable. That's monumental. That came from the streets. That came from people that were in gangs who didn't want to fight. So they took a different route, right?
A different route.
And now it's in the Olympics. Shout out to Vicious Vic. Vic was down with us back in the day, and now he won the bronze medal. That's a huge deal. Then find what you want to do, which that would change as you rhyme most of the time. The way I rapped when I was 13 is not how I rap now. And find out what you want to do. Do you want to tell stories? Do you want to talk about your life? Do you just want to get on track and make fun music? What do you want to do? And then once you figure out what you want to do, you have to be willing to put in the work in spite of life. A lot
Yes.
of a lot of people stop rapping because life, man. Life is hard. You gotta monetize things, you gotta pay bills, if you have a family, you gotta support the kids, right? A lot of people that used to rap 10 years ago don't rap right now. They don't because
Right.
life became life, and I respect it. But there are some of us that still do it for one reason or another. But the one thing that all of us can agree on is that we enjoy the culture and we love the art form. So I feel like if you understand the history, know where you come from, and then understand the elements, and then figure out what do you want to do. And then from there, if you really love this culture, you should be willing to pursue, you should be willing to sacrifice. You should be willing to work hard on it. Have an open mind. I was very blessed to always be around talented people. If it's dancing, I was trained by my teacher, Bam Bam. He's a second generation New York City breaker. I was
Wow.
trained one on
And
one
I was gonna segue to that and talk about rapping. So you do bebop. I mean you do breakdancing
by
and
pop.
bebop.
I'm a
Or you
popper.
pop out.
Yeah, I'm a popper. I lock and I pop. Yeah, I mean I do hit choreography as well, but yeah, man, I was trained. I was trained by Bam Bam one on one for years for free. He's the reason why I can move how I move. I've been dancing with crews like with your son. I met your son over a decade ago. I've danced with. I mean, man, I could talk about this forever. The cast that were in the movie In the Heights, man. I was dancing with Violetta, KRTTs. You know what I'm saying? That was my first choreography crew. Then I was rocking with 730. Then I was dancing with Bam, learning how to pop, and I rocked with Nat was popping. Shout out to Natalie in the chat. I haven't seen Nat in so long, man. I was thinking about you yesterday. Yeah, Matt already knows. Then I was training with, the Rhythm City. They were on America's Best Dance Crew like 5 seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been around super talented people, whether it was music, whether it was dancing, and that's a big reason why everything that I do, I could do at the level that I do it at is because I've had very good mentors. When you talk about freestyling, Supernatural, that's my big brother right there. And Supernatural, that's the guy. If you don't know who Supernat is, you know what I'm saying? If you have no idea who Supernat is and you freestyle, you need to do some research because that's the king, bro. Do battle Craig G, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the guy. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I have a track with Craig G now too, which is pretty bugged out. The
Okay.
video's gonna be coming out pretty soon. And my boy J Mod produced it. It's me and a couple of the other artists on there. And man, it's just, you know, yeah, like the KRS Ones, the Super Nats. you know, I just started rocking recently with a dude who was BB King's drummer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I just always have the right people around me all the time. So that's my other thing. If you're gonna do this, you have to be around the right thing, the right people, the right crew, the right energy. Because if you have the right people around you, they'll educate you, they'll guide you, they'll show you what you need to do. A lot of people, they don't understand that element. They think music is about putting stuff on SoundCloud. I mean, yeah, that could work for you. It works for some people, but some people is a very small percentage out of the millions that want to do stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, even like Natalie, haven't seen her in a minute, man. But Nat was always at all the events. You want to be around people that understand the culture, love the art, and it can remind you because you're gonna have times where you may not want to do stuff anymore because life gets hard. You need people to pick you up and be like, "No, man, like you got this. Like you got to keep pushing." So when you find those things, and like you said, you're a decent person and you move a certain way, the universe sees that.
Right.
God sees that, bro. When you out here hurting people and doing wrong and being shady and moving for self, it doesn't work that way. I'm a big believer that everything that I do is a result of what I put out.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm very blessed, man, with the DJing. I have a lot of dope DJs, man, that have been rocking for years that guided me, that gave me information. And even though I've only been DJing since May, bro, I do like 6 to 8 gigs a month
Okay.
in addition to everything else that I do.
You heard it here. If you need a DJ, if you need a
Yeah,
DJ,
yeah, yeah,
check out
yeah,
Pop
bro.
Gems. It, now, and like I said all the time, Pop Gems he focuses on positivity, and you talked about surrounding yourself when you get into your passion, and this comes from self-awareness, self-discovery, things of that nature. But when you find out what really makes you feel good, because there's a lot of people out there going through the motions and doing things in life, but they're really not happy. They're doing
Yeah,
it because of obligation. They're doing it because of you know obligation. I guess they have no other choice, or they feel mandated that they got to do this, and they let their dreams die.
yeah,
And and
exactly.
and that's what I think separates. the people that are persistent in and stay connected to their dream, the more you keep the fire lit, the further and the brighter it's gonna burn. And that don't mean that you can't have like what I do. I never thought 3 years running, this is the third year. Um Coming into podcasts, I'm always on the other side of the camera. But, it became to a point where, it's like a light switch came on and I'll never forget, when I was giving my little opinion on the B&B crew and people started gravitating, you'll find that, people, if you put yourself in the right area, people will draw from your energy. The only thing is you want to have surrounding energy. And what I mean by draw from your energy is your motivation will motivate somebody else. And they won't drain you. You'll just see them. They get around you and you excite them, and then their enthusiasm excites you, and it starts growing into a bigger and bigger circle in the ball. And that's what you want to surround yourself around. You don't want to surround yourself about a bunch of naysayers. Now, that don't mean don't have them around, and I know that sounds crazy, but you always need a contrast. You always need to hear what the other people are thinking, so that in case you got to fine tune or fine tweak, because there's no you have to understand that even though it may be criticism, I use it as this, and I say this all the time. It's like fishing with a net. You're gonna get all kind of stuff in the net. You use what you can, you throw what you can. Not
Yeah,
all criticism is bad criticism.
yeah,
Sometimes we need to hear it because we're a little outside of the line. And
yeah.
that's why I say it's imperative that people get a foundation of whatever they want to do, especially with rap, because it's like you said, it's a culture, it's a movement, it's only one element of so many other different things.
Yeah, and a lot of people that get into rap, they get into rap for the wrong reasons. I see a lot of people try to rap these days, and it's like, why are you rapping, man? Like why? Like, what's the reason? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you rapping because you actually love what this is, or are you rapping because you think it's a cool idea? You know what I mean? Like, how many verses have you? Like, let me ask you a question. How many verses do you have to write before someone can call you a rapper? You know, like, what is the amount of hours you got to put into the craft before you consider yourself an MC? I see people, treating rap like a game, bro. You don't see a bunch of people trying to be a doctor.
Right.
You don't see a bunch of people trying to be a firefighter, trying to be a UFC fighter. People try to rap because they think it's easy, because a lot of people that are out there are not doing anything interesting or creative. They're just mumbling, they throw some ad libs in there, and the engineer does the rest.
Word. Yep.
So it doesn't look like it's impressive. But then when you get around a person who really knows how to rap, it changes you. It baptizes you. I've seen people, I've seen people come. You talked about ciphers, man. I've seen people jump in ciphers. They enter as a rapper and they leave going back to work and never rapping again,
Yeah, rapping
because
and get shut down.
because they understand just how ill-equipped they are. And there's nothing wrong with being ill-equipped, because nobody starts off amazing in the beginning, right? Well, most people don't, right? I know I didn't. But you realize that I have so much more to go, and I really don't love this art enough to get that far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's sad to me that a lot of people, man, they just treat rap like a cash cow. Like, they don't really want to give to the culture. They want to put some nonsense out, make a quick buck, go on tour, and that's the contribution. And that's why a lot of people that come out, bro. Like, think about it. How many artists have came out in the past decade, and how many are still here?
That's true.
You don't got a lot. It's
You see the
wild.
line in between now. Everybody a rapper. So let them
Yeah.
tell it.
Yeah, which is
Um,
fun. Which is fun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just make sure you're taking it seriously, because you represent us. Every time you open your mouth, you represent the culture. I remember I was rapping at this jazz band show, and they were doing their thing. They were killing it. Dude, a cat named Eugene Snowden, nasty. They were doing the thing. They was killing it. more like a blues jazz kind of a vibe. And I was freestyling while they were playing live.
Wow.
This dude came up to me. I must have freestyled for like a good hour. This dude came up to me and he was like, you know what? He hands me money in my hand, right? He puts it in my hand like that. He's holding my hand and he goes, man, I've never liked rap my whole life.
Wow.
But listening to you tonight changed how I feel about it. And then he walked away. And I looked at I put whatever he gave me, I put it in my pocket. You know, I figured it was like $5, $10 or whatever. He gave me $100, bro.
There you go. You
You
get
know,
something for itself. Man, we got 6 minutes. The conversation is went so fast. Quickly, plug where you gonna be on December 11th and January 11th.
yeah. So December 11th, me and the crew, Free Daps. You can look us up on Instagram, Free Daps. The word free, Daps, DAPS. We're gonna be at Sat Comedy Live, Sat Comedy Lab, live at 9:30 p.m. It's an hour show. Kids can come, anyone can come. There's no curses, all freestyle rap, all comedy. You'll see us, man. When you walk in the venue, they have us plastered on the wall. That's how long we've been rocking there, man.
Okay.
So, we're there. And then on January 11th, I'll be at I believe I think it's a Chronic Groove, if I'm not mistaken.
I
And
think so. Yeah.
I'll be judging for Free Yourself LLC and the Simba. I'll be a judge for the $1,000 contest for rappers and singers. So if you guys want to be a part of that, to have the opportunity to win, make sure you DM Free Yourself LLC on Instagram. And there's a lot more. There's a lot more going on. That's just two quick little things. Also look out for The Hunted. I'm the lead actor of this show coming out.
Okay.
We're doing 6 episodes. Shout out to Fullerton University for backing it and producing and help pushing it out.
Yo, Pierre over there. That's my boy.
Oh, dope, 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 dope.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's full sale. It has. Where can they follow you at? What's your handles? Were
Well,
you on
first of
live, Instagram,
yeah,
TikTok?
everything is SB the Anomaly, sbtheanomaly.com, SB the Anomaly Instagram, SB the Anomaly TikTok. I got the energy is here.
I
That's my
need one of
brand.
them, but I mean, you have to put like two mediums together.
Now we got you, brother. We got the extra large, we got the large, we got whatever you need, brother. We got all sizes. And
Yeah, I needed that. So
yeah,
let me. You
man.
got a clothesline. What's your clothesline? Where can they shop at?
Oh, on the website, sbtheanomaly.com. We have a merchandise site. Shout out to your son. Your son hooked me up with one of the joints, more of like a one-on-one kind of a vibe. And yeah, I got shirts, hoodies, hats. I got pants, socks. Man, we got rugs, bathing suits, cups. Mask, all of that. SB the
Family
Anomaly.
man. Anybody you want to send a special shout out to?
Man, just shout out to you for giving me the opportunity to talk and be heard. I think as an artist, sometimes all we want is to be heard. So appreciate the opportunity to be heard. Shout out, to the fam. Shout out to AK. That's a squad right there. That's my brothers. Shout out to the Iconics. Shout out to Free Apps. And just shout out to everyone that has a dream and they're not afraid to pursue it. Because life is not easy and it's hard to pursue dreams these days. So if you still pursue what you want to do, man, I'm proud of you, even if I don't know who you are, because it means we're the same kind of person.
Appreciate you. Listen, want to special thank you for taking time to come on the show. Uh, you just recently celebrated with the little lady, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
appreciate. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
year in, engaged, yeah, man.
yeah. Year in engaged, and
You know
that's
it.
great.
You know what's
Uh,
crazy about her?
uh,
Speaking of hip hop,
she rap.
no, she
Okay.
acts and stuff, but her uncle was Big Pun.
No way. See, I can keep it in the fam.
Crazy,
Listen,
right?
next when you come back to Pop Gems, come back and holler at us one time. Next time, have the missus on there so we could talk about the family thing.
Yeah,
Like I told y'all, it wasn't enough time for us to get into everything. That we have not scratched the surface or the tip of the iceberg. This
yeah.
man is a
Crazy
wealth.
how an hour just flew by like that,
Yeah,
man.
it just flew by. I was like, what am I gonna ask him? Um, but this man is a wealth of talent, a wealth of knowledge, young man, and he's out there doing some great things. For everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. Go back and watch it again. I'm gonna post it on Instagram. Definitely gonna post it on YouTube at pops.gems. You can follow me here on TikTok as well. But we're gonna have we give a big round, a big thank you to SB the Anomaly for coming out. We're gonna have him back because there's not enough time. We're gonna talk about some other things.
With
Shout
it.
out to the B&B crew. Shout out to Exotic Pop. Shout out to the quotes to all seasons. Got to get seasons on here. He's doing a new thing with the water.
Yeah,
And
yeah. With
yeah,
Mustafa. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, definitely want to get him on here so he can talk to you all about H2 to the O. Yeah. So, but again, SB, thank you so much, my brother. Anytime, if we're here, you're welcome to come on. You're welcome to share. We're going to follow you. I'm going to do my best to make it out to the rap. I won't make it Thursday to the comedy, but I'm definitely going to come out to the rap talent. I just want to hear what these people are putting out there just to be in that element. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I'm not
Absolutely.
going to get on the mic. I don't want to take the show from nobody. No, I'm just playing. But man, again, thank you so much to all of you out there. Love somebody, man. Love life is too short. Live, love, and laugh. Stay positive. Remember that you've been through worse and you made it through. This your boy Pops. SB the Anomaly, my guest. We had an awesome show. Thank you so much. Until next time, we're out.
Love, brother.
Peace.
Take it easy, brother.